Okay, is it recording?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So like I said, I trade um based off zones, weekly and daily zones. Now, what I'm basically doing is just marking them up. You don't have to really pay attention to my numbers. My numbers really don't matter, honestly. This is just these are my zones, but I just have specific numbers for them just because I trade this pair a lot and I've been watching it. It's kind of like GU. I have the same like kind of thing with GU. GU, I have certain all the pairs that I really trade, I have specific zones on. When I trade other pairs or I'm looking at other pairs, I make not perfect zones. Does that make sense? Because I don't trade those, so I don't really need to, watch those certain zones, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. So like I said, weekly zone, then daily zone. After I finish this, weekly is in red, daily will be in another purple.
I closed my laptop. I'm just gonna watch you and take notes.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna make this. Make this different color. Let's make it green. Oh, I don't like that green. Never mind. I'm gonna make it purple. Okay. I need to get like Alexis. My girl in the gym. I need to get in the gym.
Oh, you and me both. I really want to be right for Miami, but I gotta find the time to get in the gym.
I'm about to just start working out in my room. I'm getting lazy. Doing all this trading, I'll be asleep. When I'm not trading, I'm asleep or I'm running around doing stuff. Also, you know how I have my own little like kind of trading hashtag thing where people can like keep up with me and stuff. I actually made my own group on Telegram. So if you want me to send you a link for that, I'll do that too.
Yeah, send me the link.
Okay, sure, no problem. So you're both USD. The reason why I trade zones is because zones reflect market structure. Look at these zones, right? These are the purple ones are daily, the red ones are weekly. So when we hear weekly support or resistance, a big move is coming, right?
Yep.
So look here. I'll give you an example. Hit weekly resistance. What did it do? Fell. But let me point out something. Every time price does something, it's gonna go zone to zone. So look how it went from red line to red line, right? That's interesting. Regardless, it usually hits like the in-between zone, which is the daily zone. It usually always hits the daily zone, makes some type of reversal, which it kind of did here, and then it continues to the red zone. Does that make sense? So price always moves zone to zone. I can even back test this for you. Look, purple to purple, red to red. You see how accurate that is? So regardless, this is actually how I set up my take profits and like stuff like that. If you're worried about where to put a take profit, either put your take profit about how many pips you want or put it at a little bit above the next zone. So in this case, if you want to take profit 1, put your take profit a little bit above the zone with a hit. And you would have got from here to here, guaranteed, almost 200 pips.
Wow.
That's how accurate this stuff is. Can't make it up. Even from here to here, about 150 pips. So if you had did this take profit 1 and you had did this as take profit 2, from here to here, 300 pips.
Yeah.
Guaranteed stuff, right? I mean, nothing's a guarantee technically, but you get the overall,
right,
the gist of what I'm saying. So now I'm going to do my regular thing. Start with a trend line. So this is why it's important. Why I always suggest that people do zones. Zones are the shit. Excuse my language. But I love me some zones. So Boom. Remember, what confirms a trend? How many touches? 2 to 3?
Yep.
Perfect. So we were on an uptrend here. We're still kind of, but not really in an uptrend, because we're not making higher highs anymore, and we're not making higher lows anymore. So it's kind of like we're in this zone within a zone within a zone, right? I mean, here we made a lower low and a lower low, but it didn't pass the higher high. That makes sense?
Right.
So it's just like, I know you're like confused, like what are we doing here? So really, it's still in an uptrend for now. So this is what I also do when I see stuff like this. I'll do like this. This is what I'll do. I'll like kind of put like a trend line either like right here, or I'll put like a trend line right. Well, that's not gonna work for me, but that's what I usually do. But in this case, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna keep it right here, like how you saw on gold, how I did that double trend line type of thing.
Right.
Because that's an obvious pattern. This is just kind of ugly looking right now, but so I wouldn't put like nothing on there. But I am gonna put a fib. So again, low to high for a buy. And look, this helps me out a lot because it hit the demand. So this is how I see this. Remember how I said this is the demand zone? So look, hits the demand zone, then it goes down. But we get this continuation or reversal zone, and it goes back up. And also know that it went from red to red. So eventually there's going to have to be some type of reversal back to the upside. Why? Because you can't have a big impulse without a reversal. Remember that. You can't have a big reversal, a big impulse without a reversal. Like here, big impulse made a reversal. Big impulse made a reversal. This is why I keep saying about impulse correction, impulse. So hit the demand zone. Now here, hit the demand zone again. Went down to the 38.2. The deeper the retracement, the more you're slowing down the trend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it slowed down the trend for 1, 2, 3, like almost a week. I slowed down the trend almost a week. Then it went back up. Then it kind of went back down. Then it went back up. Then it kind of. So it's like, EU, what do you want to do? But we have obvious confirmation that it was or kind of still is an uptrend. But the part that kind of makes it more complicated is that we're not making higher highs and higher lows. We actually made a lower low here. But again, we didn't make a lower high. It's still a higher high. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So with that being said, at that point, this is when I start using waves. When I feel like, okay, what am I looking at? That's when I start using waves. Impulse, correction, impulse, correction, boom, impulse, right? Then we have impulse, then like here. So waves. That is what I do. Now I'm gonna use that corrective wave that I told you about. This one right here, this ABC wave. ABC waves always make a flat pattern. So at some point, this is gonna dip probably a little bit lower. Remember that picture I sent y'all about flat patterns?
Yep.
So this is what we would call probably like an expanding flat, because it went down, then it shot up. So I definitely, and if you really want to be real, this is an uptrend because it's still respecting this trend line. Even though it's not making the characteristics of what an uptrend would be, it's still respecting this trend line. So we can still say, per se, that it is still an uptrend until it breaks these lower lows here. We're gonna still assume that it's an uptrend. Why? Because it's respecting the trend and it hasn't broken these areas. Does that make sense to you guys? You too, Alexis. You're included in this.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So then I'm going to the 4 hour. Just let me know if I'm confusing y'all. But if it makes sense and pieces on together, let me know too. So on the 4-hour, I always put a fib on most recent price action or the most recent impulse. The most recent impulse started here, which was like the other day. So I'm putting it here. Low to high to low for a sell. So look, even here, okay, you hit the supply zone, selling. Now we're kind of in this demand zone. So really, you could have put the fib, like the lower part, all the way down here if you wanted to, like right here. And you kind of still get the same result. So let's see. So in this case, it hit the 38.2. We usually see the 38.2 as a continuation or a reversal zone. But for me personally, since this was last week's impulse, that's not something I would do personally. So I would just keep my fib right here and move it until, it's not until price doesn't move past it anymore. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So as of right now, the wick has hit the demand zone and looks like it wants to come back up. This 4-hour candle closes in like 2 hours, but look at the RSI as well. RSI said that EU is severely oversold. So what's going to happen, guys? We're going to have a reversal. There's going to be some type of reversal because we can't have a big impulse like this without a reversal at some point. Even here, impulse, correction, impulse. Semi-correction, then we have a semi-correction here, then we have a big impulse down. Right at this 61.8, we have a semi-correction, then we have a big impulse down. Boom. So with that being said, I'm gonna go back to the daily really quick and look at this. So this is what I was saying in regards to that reversal. On the RSI on the daily, we're at literally the 50%. Y'all know that the 50% is what? A reversal zone on the RSI. So I'm definitely especially me. I'm definitely looking for a reversal because there's two big bear candles. So we need to have some type of bull candle appear at some point. That's why this is kind of blue. It's really doji-ish right now, but you get the point. Then I move, like I said, I move from low, high on my time frames. Now look, even more evidence that we're on the right path. Price hit this demand zone, kind of wicked it like 2-3 times. Now we have like these dojis right here. So this is what I see is as this is going to be a correction or a reversal. Corrections usually lead to reversals or like big impulses, just depending on price action and what it's doing. So I'm expecting EU to make that either it's going to make a big reversal / impulse to the upside, or this is just what people would call a pullback. But since we're on an obvious uptrend, I think this is probably going to lead up to another impulse. Not right now, it may not make another impulse because it has to correct itself, but it's going to lead to another impulse. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes, I'm sorry. It makes sense. I just muted the phone when my husband's phone was ringing. So.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. How about you, Alexis? Did that make sense?
That's my phone.
Alexis? I don't think she can hear me. But does that kind of make sense to you, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Oh, you're here? Okay. I just want to make sure everyone is on the same page and understands. Does that kind of help you understand it more?
Yeah, it helps. Especially understanding that the waves within the trend line, like it helps understand exactly where price is potentially gonna go.
Right. So I definitely think that there's potential either for price to break this trend line just a little bit. Don't get intimidated when price breaks a trend line. Just because it breaks a trend line doesn't mean it's going to automatically make a new trend. Sometimes it'll break the trend line like this and retest and keep going. So we're really gonna have to wait and see, like especially during London, because this is probably gonna make a big move during London. We're gonna wait and see if it breaks the trend line and then respects it again by going back up, or it just breaks the trend line and keeps falling. So that's what I'm looking for. And I also check for divergence, but I'm not really seeing any. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any divergence. So it looks like we got a pretty good idea. There's gonna be there's gonna be a reversal. Some type of correction has to happen. You can't have like these big candles like this. Like this candle right here alone,
Right.
drop 50 pips in an hour, and that's not really usual for EU unless it's London session. So yeah, guys. Is there any other specific questions you guys have that you want me to go over, or I don't want to take too much of you guys' time either, so.
No, I mean, I don't have any questions. I'm just, following along, and it's like all making sense. I'm writing notes down as you're speaking, and it's becoming more and more clear.
Yeah. Even if you don't end up using the waves like exactly how I do, it's the fact that you understand that when an impulse happens, a big impulse, there has to be some correction at some point. So
Right.
once you understand that and apply that to your charts and apply that to your trading, you kind of understand where you're needing to enter and where you're needing to like kind of put your take profits. And I was telling Shia earlier, Alexis, about my specific zones here. I'm gonna explain it to you. I don't know if you were on here during that, but basically, market moves in waves, and how I have my zone set. Price moves from zone to zone. So these red lines are weekly zones, and these purple lines are daily zones. So notice how price went from this red line to this red line, right? Every time, red line to red line, red line to red line, period. Or if it doesn't do that, it's always going to hit the next zone that's in between. That's why I make a zone in between the two, because sometimes it doesn't go all the way down immediately. It takes time. So that's why you have that intermediate level, because it's always going to hit one of the zones. It always hits this purple zone. You see that? Hit the purple zone regardless. And then I'm going to go down and show you. Even down here, purple to purple, right? Red to red. In the middle, it hits the purple. So I was telling Shia, when you have these zones, you can always put your take profit just a little bit above the zone. Why? Because it's like a guaranteed, kind of trade. And I use guarantee loosely because the market is unpredictable, but when you use price action and confirmations, it always hits the zone. And I was telling her how many pips it was. That's about like 150 pips on your first take profit. On a 0.01, that's $15.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very helpful right there.
You said what?
I said that's very helpful. Like
Yeah.
knowing exactly zones.
Right. Because zones kind of play off of price action and market structure. Like there's not one area that my zone that hasn't been hit with price action. You guys see that? It always hits the zone, whether it goes from red to red or red to purple. It's gonna hit their zone regardless. So that's how I see the market. That's how I kind of become more successful with trading. It wouldn't be right for me to just, be selfish and not put other people on too. Everybody eats, so that's how I see it. So guys, yep, that's basically all I have for you guys. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to take too much time from you guys. I don't really have too much other to say. I have the recordings, and I'm gonna go ahead and edit those and drop them. So if there's nothing else, we can
No,
wrap.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like, this is helpful. It's more helpful than any like I'd rather come and see you guys webinars. I don't want to seem biased, but I guess I am. Like I'd rather, you guys explain it. It's more helpful to me than the IML Academy.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I'm in the same boat. Like just seeing the team, the way the team helps each other, it makes you want to learn more because everybody in the team is willing to help each other.